and welcome to part 5 now on my horror DVD collection. And first up, we got a cult effort from 1977 called Blue Sunshine, directed by Jeff Lieberman. Now, he doesn't have the most prolific film career. It's very sporadic, and this is probably considered his best film, his masterpiece. And it's interesting because it's kind of entrenched in that whole 60s era drug culture. The hippies from back then, it's now the 70s, they've become the people they swore they'd never be, yuppies and businessmen. And they're having an after effect of this special strain of LSD they took back in the 60s. They're starting to lose their hair and turning into homicidal maniacs. Now, it sounds pretty silly, but it's actually very well done. That's what I think the strong point of this movie is the direction and the story. Very creative, very inventive, and I think pretty much anyone would enjoy this film. It's very memorable too. There's a lot of scenes like the beginning where they're out in that cabin, very creepy. So I'd highly recommend this one to everyone. I really enjoyed it. It's a really good film, and I think this is the special edition. So if you can get it, check it out. Very good movie. And I saw one of his recent efforts called Satan's Little Helper. I think it was released probably 2 or 3 years back now. And it doesn't go much deeper than what you see on the screen. This one is more psychological and has a lot of thriller elements. Very, very good movie. So I recommend it to all. Very inventive, very creative, good story. Another cult effort here, and another something weird video release with Andy Milligan's The Body Beneath. Now, if you don't know who Andy Milligan is, he's kind of this crazy nutjob of a guy. Very interesting if you read up about him, but think Herschel Gordon-Lewis. Very low budget, very low brow, lots of blood, violence, nudity, and this one deals with vampires. As you can see, filmed in the graveyards of England, so lots of shots of fog-enshrouded graveyards and gothic houses, austere locations, but at odds with the movie because it's very tacky and, yeah, as I mentioned, low budget and silly. Now, I enjoy these films. They're always entertaining, they're funny, and yeah, they're just a fun watch. I guess you could say Andy Milligan is the poor man's Herschel Gordon-Lewis. He doesn't have as big a reputation. He was never as successful, but yeah, his films aren't up to that quality, which is strange to say, but they're still fun little watches. And this one, again, is a Region 1 release. Kind of weird little DVD there, little fold-out thing, but yeah, if you're into your culty, strange movies, check this one out. I've got a few of his other movies too, and yeah, they're the same kind of thing. Pretty good movie for what it is. Next up we have Abel Ferrara, of course the director of Bad Lieutenant, Driller Killer, Miss 45, but this is Body Snatchers, and this is a remake of the 1978 remake of the 1956 original Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And the previous 2 movies are really good films. The 78 version's my favourite. But yeah, so it's got a lot to live up to. And this is actually a pretty good film. I mean, I was kind of gearing up to hate this movie because I'm a die-hard fan of the 78 version, but I can't really argue with this one. It's a very good interpretation, a very good effort, and it doesn't really change much. It doesn't make it uncomfortable. So the story is very similar. There's a stronger military presence, I'd say, and a few other alterations, but generally it's the same thing. And of course the special effects and all that kind of thing, new technology, so yeah, they get pretty flashy and they look pretty good. So yeah, it's a very good movie. I wasn't expecting that much, as I said, but yeah, it surprised me. It's a good film. I should have expected that with Abel Ferrara helming it, but yeah, very good movie. So if you're into the previous 2 movies, check it out. And of course now there's that movie called Invasion, another one. I think it's got Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig, but I won't talk about that. Anyway, Body Snatchers, good film. Right, welcome back. I had a bit of a wardrobe change because it's getting cold, but anyway, the next movie up is a pretty famous one. It's got tags like the bloodiest movie ever, the goriest movie ever, and it could only be Braindead, or Eaten Alive as it's known in the States. 1992 horror comedy from New Zealand, directed by Peter Jackson. Can't really think of anything else he's done. He's not that famous, but anyway, yeah, with a tag like that or an accolade like that, bloodiest movie ever, you'd think this movie would be disturbing or sick or perverted, but it's actually pretty tame in that the gore is very tongue-in-cheek and silly. It doesn't have a vicious streak at all. It's a really good movie. It centres around a young, mild-mannered man called Lionel, kind of this homebody mother's boy character, and his mother goes to the zoo, and she gets bitten by this exotic creature called the rat monkey. The wound becomes infected, she basically turns into a zombie, but he doesn't realise, and so he's caring for her unawares. Now, it has a lot of memorable scenes in it, of course, the ear and the custard, Kung Fu Priest, the epic lawnmower scene at the end, very bloody, very cool. Yeah, it's just a really well pulled off movie. I wouldn't imagine the budget would have been very high, but you can't tell at all because, yeah, everything is just done so well. The gore, the special effects, all that kind of thing, and there's a lot of extras in this movie too, so yeah, it's quite an accomplishment. I think it's a film nearly everyone can enjoy. As I said, it's not offensive at all. It's very funny. Jackson is a great director. He's got Bad Taste and Meet the Feebles out there too, similar kind of movie, so check them out if you enjoy this one. Now, this is the UK Braindead uncut one, so I think in the States the Eaten Alive version's slightly cut, but you're not missing much. It's a great movie, so check it out. Next up is one of my favourite directors, and it's David Cronenberg with The Brood. Now, this was released in 1979, and it centres around this radical new therapy treatment called psychoplasmics. And what it does is it gets the patient to manifest their psychic wounds into physical ones, but it's having some, dangerous side effects. I won't go into the story too much because, a lot of spoilers in this one, but it's David Cronenberg, and as I said, he's one of my favourite directors. His movies are always multi-layered, have a lot of depth, and a lot more going on in them. And if you dig a little deeper with this one, there's a lot of questions posed and statements made. Really enjoyed this movie. The acting is great. It's got Oliver Reed in there. It's very creepy too. There's these kind of disfigured children, dwarf-type characters, and they wear these coloured raincoats. They're vicious, and they start attacking people. It sounds silly, but it's very effective, very creepy, and very eerie. I really enjoyed this one. I urge you to seek it out. Now, I just found this one out. This one was cut, this Australian release, so I'm a bit pissed off about that. But I might have to get the Criterion edition if there's one out. But it's a great movie. It's really well done, really intelligent, not your usual horror movie, I guess you could say. Great film. Next up is it's kind of a favourite of mine. It's Burial Ground, or The Nights of Terror, and it's a very, very low budget, cheesy zombie movie, very, very gory, and it was released back in 1980, directed by Andrea Bianchi, I think you pronounce it. And it's just so outlandish and so far-fetched. It's so funny. That's what I think is, the best part of it is the comedy elements. They weren't intentional, but it's still a funny movie all the same. There's this archaeologist at the beginning, and he unearths this tomb. There's some cadavers in there, and they come back alive. And it takes place on this kind of isolated estate in Europe. And these people start holidaying there, and the zombies start attacking the house, and it's just a really, really fun movie. The gore is, as I said, very cheesy, lots of melted crayon blood, that kind of thing, and the makeup's pretty poor, but it's just a really fun movie to enjoy. And there's also, it's very, very strange movie. There's this character, I think the actor's name's Peter Bark, and because of the film laws in Italy, they couldn't hire a child to play this 12-year-old, so they hired a dwarf instead, and he kind of looks like this retarded Dario Argento, so it's pretty funny. And there's a really sick scene with him and his mother. He kind of has this fetish towards his mother, and that gets taken to the extreme at the end. I won't say what, but you know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. It's a very, very fun movie, and again, if you've heard me mention in my previous videos, the Umbrella Company, this is released by Umbrella. Pretty cool little cover art there. Great movie, and this is uncut, so great movie. I really enjoyed this one. It's not highbrow, but it's funny as shit, so there you go. Now, I think I'm going to have to stop there because I've used up my time. I really want to talk about this movie, The Burning, but I'm going to have to wait till next time. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate all the comments and subscribers, ratings there. I really enjoy that. So, thank you for watching.